As you can imagine, the reaction in the German press wasn't particularly positive after that shock defeat against South Korea, of course, dumping them out of the group stages of the World Cup. Interesting, some people pointing the blame at the coach, others at the players and complacency. Stevie, you worked yesterday, obviously. Where does the fault lie for you?
I think you have to look at the coach. You know, his job is not only about what happens on the field, but what happens off the field. He has to set the tone of where the concentration is, you know, the chemistry. You've got to do things. You've got a bunch of guys who are together for, what, 5 weeks up to now? You've got to be able to figure a way of keeping them going, not letting them get complacent. And as I said, it's clearly been off the field where the problems have been, which then show themselves on the field.
What was Neuer up to, Shaq?
Went for a little wander, didn't he?
He certainly did go for a big one.
I don't get that. I understand Manuel Neuer, as good as he is with his feet, etc., why you end up that close to the opposition box in possession and then get caught out is beyond me. But Jurgen Löw has to accept responsibility for this from the very get-go.
He's got to go? Would you sack him?
Yeah, I think that cycle has come to an end now. You know, let's take nothing away from how good he has been as Germany's manager. Took over a team in a similar condition, brought in new faces, brought in younger players, and turned them into world champions. That cycle has now come to an end for both Jurgen Löw and the vast majority of the squad.
You mentioned it yesterday. He just seemed completely clueless when it came to his team selection yet again yesterday, and it just seemed to resonate throughout the tournament.
The buck stops with a manager at all times if it's club or country. Players always get some stick, but the manager always shoulders the blame. I don't know off the top of my head how many changes he made over the 3 games, but it was a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And the Neuer situation, I just think, summed up the recklessness within that German camp, which is something that is strange to be saying. And the other side of the coin is he was quite lucky to be playing. He missed a big chunk of the season with Bayern Munich, and Ter Stegen was excellent for Barcelona. So the coach made all these decisions. Buck stops with him.
Did the fact they won the World Cup last time out, does that affect them going into this tournament? And then there was a little bit of swagger, a bit of complacency.
It shouldn't do.
Not the same desire.
It shouldn't do. They should still have the same desire. They should have the swagger because they're confident and they're playing in the highest leagues across Europe. It's just that they simply weren't good enough. And I don't know whether it's just a huge bunch of egos clashing, but whether it's Hummels coming out in the first game. Everybody's come out today saying we're not good enough, we weren't good enough, we were terrible, we were this, we were that. And no one seems to accept the blame on the pitch, because on the pitch they looked a complete shambles, and that's the first time you'd ever say that about Germany. Nobody seemed to care about the teammates. Nobody wanted to cover for the teammates. As Shaka just said, Manuel Neuer running past the centre defenders and just leaving them isolated, almost thinking that he's a better footballer than them. I was astounded at some of the decisions made on the pitch, and that doesn't bode well at all, isn't it? When everybody's finger pointing on, you know, at your own teammates, it's not my fault, it's his fault. It's not his fault, he missed the chances. It's not my fault, he ran forward and didn't cover defensively. Do
you think
it just absolutely stunk the whole thing?
Do you think the fact that they went to the Confederations Cup with what everybody thought was just a run-of-the-mill squad, a lot of young guys, they're all thrown together, do you think some of the players that were in that, and particularly the coach and the coaching staff, do you think the fact that they ended up winning that comfortably, that kind of was where the rot set in? They all of a sudden think, you know what, doesn't matter what we do, we're the best. Do you think that's possible, that carried on? Well,
a couple of the players, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Thomas Müller didn't always play this season for Bayern Munich, did he?
No.
So you got, and by the way, he's been a great player, but it's almost like, but he does it for Germany. Same with Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
Pretty average for Arsenal and an average side, to be fair, but he always does it for Germany. It's kind of that mentality. These guys will play because they do it for Germany. Well, they've actually stopped doing it for Germany, and that's been a big issue for them.
The amazing thing for me is, and we keep talking about this, I sit here saying this about Germany, they almost live by a different set of rules when it comes to football, in that regardless of what injuries they have or whether they're in great form or not, they always compete and are always there or thereabouts. Yet still, despite the names on this team sheet, despite the experience, no, you can't just say that this team are living on the glories of 4 years ago. Germany doesn't do that. Germany has never done that. And to see this team look as inept as it has, it points to some bigger problems. It has to.